hello to all my mangy misfits out there, and welcome back to the Lewd Lycanthrope. I'm your host, Chuck Duclaw, part-time cryptid, full-time stress rash in the underwear of late-stage capitalism. Today we're diving into jobs so mentally draining they don't just burn you out, they raw dog your sanity while HR emails you about team-building opportunities. These aren't careers, folks, they're psychological gangbangs with no safe word and a punch clock. The kind of gigs that leave you dry heaving in the parking lot wondering if faking your death is a viable exit strategy. If you've ever cried in a supply closet, flirted with the idea of arson, or had a stress dream about printer paper, well, congrats, you're among friends. So lube up your brain and grab a drink, because we're counting down 5 mentally taxing jobs that'll wreck your mind and maybe your pants as well. Now let's get into this list, shall we? Well, coming in at number 5, we've got the traveling manager, aka the glorified babysitter. So you thought this job was all fancy hotels and first-class flights, huh? Well, you'd be wrong. You're living the dream, all right, if by dream you mean spending hours in an airport crammed in a middle seat between a guy who hasn't showered in days and a crying toddler. Oh, and that hotel you're staying at? Well, it smells like disappointment mildew, so enjoy. Your job, you ask? Well, babysit a team of overgrown children who can't find their own ass with a map and fix problems that should have been solved before you even showed up. Need to change that flight because Becky can't be bothered to make the meeting on time? Sure, no problem. I'll just cancel the whole damn trip. Now, let's not forget the meetings where you're expected to lead a group of people who couldn't organize a 2-car parade. And don't even think about enjoying any of these beautiful cities you're visiting either. You're too busy answering 50 emails, dodging calls, and trying to survive on airport food that can only be classified as sad. The networking event they promised? Oh yeah, it's a bunch of suits exchanging meaningless pleasantries while you sit there wishing you could stab yourself with your own pen. But the real kicker? It's the mental strain. You're stuck alone in some godforsaken city, away from your loved ones, with nothing but your hotel room, a shitty TV, and your slowly shrinking will to live. You spend more time talking to a concierge than your own family. And when you finally do call home, it's always at the worst time. Your kids losing their mind because they can't find their favorite toy, or your partner's just hanging on by a thread because you're the only one holding shit together when you're there. And all you can do is listen, pretend like you've got your shit together, and pray that your next flight doesn't get delayed for 6 hours so you can just get home and pretend like everything's fine. And by the time you get home, well, you're so mentally fried that you can't even remember your own name. Oh, and the fun part, you ask, you still have to go back to the office and pretend like you didn't just spend the last week living out of a suitcase and losing every ounce of your will to live. But hey, at least you got a free breakfast at the airport lounge, right? I mean, it's the important things in life, folks. Definitely the important things. Well, saving us all at number 4, we've got the first responders, aka the heroes nobody wants to be. So let's talk about them for a second, shall we? You know, these guys are the unsung heroes who get to show up first to clean up all of humanity's fuck-ups. You thought your job was tough? Try rushing into chaos with no idea what you're walking into. One minute you're saving someone from a burning car, and the next you're trying not to lose your shit while some guy who's about to die is asking if he can still make it to his kid's soccer game next week. No, Jim, you can't, but nice try anyway. Every day is like a goddamn episode of Who's Gonna Survive This Week. Your team gets called to a car accident, a fire, or maybe even some dumbass trying to outrun a bear. And there you are, trying to keep people alive while they panic like their life's a shitty sitcom. Meanwhile, you're internally screaming, I don't get paid enough for this shit, but you have to keep it together. And why? Well, because apparently you're the only sane one there. Now let's talk about paperwork too. Oh yeah, after saving lives and probably seeing some shit you can't unsee, you get to fill out more forms than a tax accountant. Did you record the trauma severity in a triplicate form? Sure. I'll just put that right next to the part where I almost passed out from exhaustion. And by the time you get home, you're so fried you can't even remember the last time you had a decent meal. And your family thinks you're still on shift because, surprise, no one ever says good job. Instead, they're like, why are you covered in blood and sweat again? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because I just saved a life. But okay, Karen, tell me more about how your day was just so exhausting. So, yeah, first responders, living the dream of saving people and silently wondering if you made the right choice in life. But hey, at least you're still breathing, right? Well, for now, anyway. So coming in at number 3 on our list of mentally masochistic careers is the air traffic controller, aka the poor bastard in the tower who makes sure your flight to Vegas doesn't end up in a Michael Bay-style explosion. You know how you panic when you've got more than 2 tabs open on your laptop? Well, imagine 37 planes all screaming for your attention, and one of them has a pilot who sounds like he just snorted a big old cup of NyQuil. These folks sit for hours watching blips on a screen like stressed out gods of the sky, calculating altitudes, airspeeds, and whose turn it is not to crash. You so much as sneeze at the wrong time and boom, you're coordinating an air funeral with CNN on hold. And the pressure? Oh baby. You're one mid-air fender bender away from being blamed for a catastrophe because some rookie pilot decided autopilot meant nap time. Meanwhile, your brain is screaming, left, left, Jesus fucking Christ, go left! But your mouth has to say, maintain current heading, Delta 248. And mental health? Oh, you can forget that shit. You're so anxious your anxiety has a therapist. You live on caffeine, regret, and the creeping knowledge that one bad day could make your tragic backstory into an airport disaster documentary. So yeah, air traffic controllers. Keeping hundreds of people alive with nothing but your voice. Maybe a radar screen and a fading hope that nobody decides to freestyle a landing. But don't worry though. You'll totally sleep tonight. Eventually. Probably. Moving on to the number 2 spot on our list of mentally obliterating jobs, we've got customer service, or aka Hell's Front Desk Clerk. Where your actual job title might as well be verbal abuse receptacle, in my opinion. If you've ever wanted to get paid to be gaslit, insulted, and blamed for the Earth's rotation, well, congratulations. This gig might just be for you. Your shift starts with a thank you for calling and ends with you praying for death or at least a minor power outage. People call in like it's 911, screaming because their coupon code didn't work on a sex toy they bought in 2013. Try to help, but somehow you are the asshole because the system won't let them stack discounts like it's fucking Tetris. And every idiot who forgot their password suddenly thinks you're the CIA. Why do you need my email address? Why can't you just fix this? Well, Susan, I'm not a wizard. I'm a minimum wage meat puppet with access to exactly one button and a constant migraine. And let's talk about mental health for these people, because yours don't exist. Your emotions get squeezed out between fake smiles and repeated phrases like, I understand your frustration. All the while you fantasize about faking your own death and living in a cave where no one knows what a printer is. And God forbid you sound tired or slightly human. You get written up for not sounding positive enough while Chad from Texas is calling you a useless piece of shit because his router blinked once. So yeah, customer service, where you get to solve problems you didn't cause for people who don't respect you, using tools that don't work while your soul melts into your office chair. But hey, you get a 10-minute break to cry in the bathroom and rethink your life, and that is a highly valuable time of your day. Well, topping our list off at number 1, we've got military service members, or as I like to call them, the government's favorite trauma receptacles. These brave souls sign a contract that basically says, I agree to suffer in ways most civilians can't even spell. You get shipped off to some far-ass desert, jungle, or frozen hellscape to defend freedom, or oil, depending on the decade. And people think it's a Call of Duty scene or badassery. No, it's 90% standing around in the blistering sun waiting for an officer to remember what day it is. You've got sleep deprivation, mystery rations that may or may not be food, and a daily game of will my Wi-Fi work in this shithole base today? Spoiler alert, it usually don't. And mental health? Well, that's a fucking joke. You come in with a functioning brain and leave with insomnia, hypervigilance, and a rage problem that kicks in every time someone says thank you for your service while cutting in front of you in the DMV line. You're trained to kill, build, fix, survive, and obey. All while living with 40 dudes in a metal box that smells like feet, gunpowder, and repressed emotions. And if you're lucky, you get out with hearing loss, joint pain, and probably a fair amount of PTSD. Oh, but wait, you also get 10% off at Applebee's, so that makes it all worth it. Thanks, America. And don't get me started on deployment. Nothing like being 6,000 miles away from your family trying to FaceTime your kid while mortars are going off and someone's stealing your MRE jalapeno cheese spread again. So yeah, military life. Serve your country, risk your life, break your brain, and more than likely get ghosted by the VA for your trouble. But at least you look good in that uniform for a while. All jokes aside, people, massive respect and appreciation to every service member out there who's done the job. They pay the price and they keep going. You carry more than just gear, and the rest of us get to be sarcastic assholes in relative peace because of it. So a mighty salute to all of you beautiful badasses out there. Thank you for your service. And there it is, my glorious mangy misfits. 5 jobs that'll mentally fuck you harder than a Tinder date in a blackout. Look, if you're stuck in one of these soul-crushing dumpster fires right now, just know you're not weak. You're a certified badass. You've survived the mental equivalent of being locked in a cage with your own insecurities and a broken coffee machine. But don't get too comfy, because these jobs, well, they'll leave you questioning if your brain is melting or if you're just that good at pretending to be fine. When in reality, you're one bad email away from pulling a full-on office meltdown in front of HR. So if this video made you laugh, cry, or possibly consider starting a side hustle as a professional hot mess, hit that like button like it's your boss's dignity. Subscribe and send this to your coworkers, because let's face it, we're all just one nervous breakdown away from a group therapy session. This has been Chuck Duclaw, your favorite emotional train wreck, still waiting for the sweet release of retirement, signing off. Until next time, stay weird, stay horny, and remember, if you're not questioning your life choices, are you even really alive? We'll catch you next time, you glorious wrecking balls of self-destruction. Chuck out.